can say this. You see, we have this spacement. This one, lumbar vertebra. See, lumbar vertebra. But it's surrounded with the connective tissue. Vertebral column. The vertebrae of the vertebral column, they are jointed with help of the intravertebral disc. Intravertebral disc. You see, it has two parts. Fibrous ring, it's outside, and nucleus pulposus inside. Nucleus pulposus. These two parts, it's the synchondrosis. The type, the junction is the synchondrosis. Fibrous ring, nucleus annulus fibrosus, and nucleus pulposus inside. Nucleus pulposus is like the maybe very, very hard but gel. It's push, and the fibrous ring, it's pull to vertebrae. See, contralateral direction of this first, so this would absorb the stress while we work. This. Then bodies, they connected with help of this ligament, anterior longitudinal ligament. Anterior longitudinal ligament, it runs from the anterior arc of the atlas until the coccyx. And it's the inferior part between sacral and coccyx, and here is sacral, ventral sacrococcygeal ligament. Continue here. From the back side of bodies, we have the dorsal longitudinal ligament. Ventral or anterior, and here posterior longitudinal ligament. It is here. Posterior longitudinal ligament. For example, here we can see anterior, and this one posterior longitudinal ligament. Then arcs. You see these ligaments? Connection between arcs is connected with help of the flavum ligament. Flavum ligament. Here they are. Flavum ligament. This one elastic connective tissue, the specific type of flavum. It means it translated yellow ligament. So on the spacement, in the fresh spacements without fixation, we will see this like the yellow tissue. In the fixed spacement, more often they change color into the violet. I don't know what? The gray, dark gray. The yellow ligament, ligamentum flavum. Then spinous processes, they connected with help of the interspinatus ligament, and from the back side we have supraspinatus ligament. Could I use picture? Between spinous processes, interspinatus ligament, between arcs, flavum ligament, ligamentum flava, and from the top of the spinous processes we have the supraspinatus ligament. Supraspinatus ligament runs upward, and it attached to the external occipital crest. External occipital crest, but the I will bring. Wait. Imagine that we have here occipital bone to the external occipital crest. You see, the cervical vertebra, they has short spinous processes. It's here, the seventh cervical long, and supraspinatus ligament, it continues here, and this triangular structure, triangular ligament, we call nuchal ligament. Nuchal ligament. Supraspinatus, it runs upward, and here it's continue into the nuchal ligament. Nuchal ligament, it hold head. Then between transverse processes we have intertransversal ligament. Intertransversal ligament. You see, transverse process to the other, and this ligament. Intertransversal ligaments. These all are continuous joints, ligaments, fibrous joints. Here cartilages, here fibrous joints, continuous different ligaments. Also we have here the synovial joints. We call intravertebral or zygapophyseal joints. Zygapophyseal joints. Here I can show you this joint. Here it is. Here it is. see, I put the branch of the pincers into the articular cavity. And you can see this white is a cartilage, hyaline cartilage, which cover these surfaces. And this cavity, and anywhere we have here a capsule. The apophyseal joint. While we describe synovial joint, we should follow plan. Name a short introduction. Joint of the vertebral column, the apophyseal joint, synovial joint. Joint of the forearm, joint of the leg, like something like this. Then we should say the first name. Then bones which make in this joint. Vertebra. Yes? Upper one and lower two neighbor vertebrae. They make this joint. Then we should call articular surfaces. Articular surfaces here are superior articular process and the articular facets on the vertebra below and here superior articular processes and facets of the vertebra below and inferior articular processes and articular facets on the vertebra above. Clear? Two neighbor vertebrae. It's articular surfaces. Next point of our plan should be capsule. What we can say about the capsule? You see, sometimes we can say that the capsule attach anywhere else except borders of the articular surfaces. If it attach to the borders, on the borders of articular surfaces, we should say nothing. We miss this point. Here we miss. Then we should, next place, we should see what is in the joint, if it's something there. We should describe accessory structures. If nothing, we again miss this point. I mean the accessory structures of this joint, inside joint. Next step, we should give classification for this joint. We should classify it. The joints, the apophyseal joints, first of all, there are combined joint, flat, multi-axial. Combined joint, it means that right and left joints work together. Flat, the shape of these surfaces, and multi-axial amount of movements. You again should describe that in the thoracic part, movements limited by the spinous processes and location of the articular processes, and we can only like the not bend how the twist our body, little bit small movements in the thoracic part. But in the cervical and lumbar part, we can flex, extend, abduct, adduct, and rotate our body. You see, multi-axial joints. But surface, we can say that this is a flat joint. Of course, these joints work together with the intervertebral discs, which we can say that this one the arthroporosis, middle amount of movements of this. But all together, they can give us big movement, big flexion, big extension, and mobility, like you see in your bodies. Clear? Yeah. This about the vertebral column. Then we should connect vertebral column with the skull. I can't show here, I haven't these illustrations, but you can review these bones and you can make model of these joints. We have to connect skull to the vertebral column. We have 5 joints. Atlanta occipital first. Atlanta occipital. It's built from the atlas and occipital bone, superior articular surface on the atlas, and occipital condyle joined together. Fourth and fifth point I miss. Nothing to say. Then again, you see this combined joint, shape of this joint, ellipsoid, you can see here, condyle joint, biaxial joint, 2 axes, flexion, extension, abduction, adduction. You see, I can't say that it's a big degree to this flexion. But of course we move flexion, extension. You see, while we do this, we use all the, not only atlanto-occipital joint, but also the other joints of the cervical part. Clear? Flexion, extension, abduction, adduction. It fixed with help of the ligament. So we have two membranes. Atlanto-occipital anterior membrane and atlanto-occipital posterior membrane. These membranes run from the occipital bone to the posterior arc of the atlas, the posterior one, and anterior atlanto-occipital membrane runs from the magnum foramen, from the occipital bone to the anterior arc. Clear? Two membranes. Next, we have the joint. You can see here we have three joints, three or even four joints. Two lateral one, Atlanta-axial joint, lateral, and one middle. Atlanta-axial middle joint. Atlanta-axial joints, Atlanta-axial middle joint. You see again combination of joints, combined joint. Lateral joints flat, you can see shape. And this joint, you see, it's like the door. It's uniaxial cylindrical joint. This one, see, hinge joint. We can turn our head rotation. So this middle joint make this lateral, which should be multi-axial, into the uniaxial combined joint. Cylindrical joint. Clear? Ligaments. You see here we have the spinal cord. If will happen something like this, spinal cord will be damaged by the dents. So we have a lot of ligaments which strictly fix the joint to the anterior arc. And I will show these ligaments on the picture. First of all, we have here tectorial membrane. Tectorial membrane. You see, we look from the back side to the anterior, from posterior anterior direction. The posterior one is the tectorial membrane. Tectorial membrane covered all this, and it's continue into the posterior longitudinal ligament. First, remove this, and we will see cruciate ligament. Cruciate ligament. It's like the cruciate ligament. Longitudinal fascicle. It runs from the occipital bone to the body of the atlas. Axis, to the body of the axis. And transverse atlas ligament. Transverse atlas ligament. You see, it runs from the lateral mass to lateral mass, between lateral mass, to fix that. Very thick ligament. We can say more. This ligament make here also synovial cavity to its work like the articular surface to this joint, from the back side. Then these ligaments, the next layer, these ligaments, alar ligaments. They start from the dens and attach to the occipital condyles, to the inner surface of the occipital condyles. Alar ligaments. And finally we have apices densus ligaments, ligament of the dense apex. It starts from the apex, it's in front of this, there. From the middle part of the magnum foramen, from the occipital bone to the apex of the dens. Clear? These ligaments which hold these dens on this place and stretch this joint, connected to these bones, into these joints. Atlanta, occipital, Atlanta, axial joints. 5 joints which connect skull to the vertebral column. Clear? Okay, let's continue. We can say about the symphysis in the lumbar part, and sacrococcygeal joint. Flat joint, you see and some ligaments, ventral and dorsal sacrococcygeal ligaments. Like this. Next, we should think about the connection between ribs and vertebral column. Ribs and sternum. Ribs and vertebral column. Here we have ribs. Costa vertebral joint. Costa vertebral joint. It consists of its combined joint. It has head of the rib and costa transversal joint. As you remember, articulatia capitis costa, joint of the head of the rib. It has connection. This connection between rib, between head, and the bodies of the thoracic vertebrae. Articular surfaces for the second until 10th rib, 2 articular facets and intervertebral disc from one side and head from the other side. You see, we have here a disc which goes to the crest of the head of the rib. In this crest we have ligament which attach head to the intervertebral disc. And we can say that this joint is just this of the head of the rib. 3 bones wedged together, it's compound joint. And it's complex because of this joint. Here we have ligament, you see, radial ligament of the head of the rib. This joint, again rib and vertebra, costa transversal joint. Articular surfaces are here, you see, this one, articular facet on the costa tubercle, rib tubercle, and another one, this one, costal facet of the transverse process. And here we have ligament, costa vertebral ligament, costa transversal ligament, this one. This one, for example, we have some ligaments, costa transversal, medial, lateral, interosseous, here between neck and transverse process. You can say only costa transversal ligament, You see, this combined joint, it works around the neck of the rib. The movement in one specific axis, around the axis of the neck. Due to this, we raise ribs during inhalation and pull them down during the exhalation. Clear? Costa vertebral joints, articulations. This. Next, we have here joints between sternum and costal cartilages. Sternocostal joints. First rib connected to the sternum with help of the syndesmosis. Continuous joints without cavity. Other ribs, they have here joints. And you can find here a cavity. We should cut it a little bit, but I can't. So we should have here cavity, articular cavity. Both clear, sternum and rib cartilage. Articular surfaces, the sternal end from one side and costal notch from the other side, on the sternum. Clear? These joints, we can call them like the flat joints, multiaxial, but movements are very, very small. With the very small movements, like the slide at one end and the other. Rotate while we breathe, during the breathing. Ligaments. Radial ligament here, anterior, and here radial ligament. Together, these radial ligaments make this sternal membrane, internal and external, or posterior and anterior sternal membrane, this one. Also, we have cartilages, rib cartilages, which attach, it's about the false rib. Again, this connection is the syndesmosis, one cartilage to another one. But between cartilages of the rib, between the borders, you see, of these cartilages, between 6th and 7th, 7th and 8th rib, we can find these interchondral joints. Interchondral joints. And you can see that this one synovial joint. There are articular surfaces, superior and inferior borders of the navel ribs, or the rib cartilages, sorry. Capsule attached to the borders. And here the movements, flat multiaxial joints, movements, one rib sliding near the other one. You see, here we have very specific joints and specific movements in these joints. One rib and another sliding, interchondral joints. Okay, sternum and the manubrium and the body of the sternum connected to each other with help of the synchondroses. This again, cartilage. You see, bone, cartilage, bone, continuous joint, continuous joint. Similar like the xiphoid process. These joints are synovial, you see, and you can see here some intra-articular ligaments. Intra-articular ligaments which help to fix the rib to the sternum. On this picture, you see ribs connection. Spine transverse process, intertransverse ligaments. This one transverse process, this one rib. You see these ligaments, costal transversal ligaments. You see lateral medial, and here interosseous ligament between neck and the transverse process, interosseous ligament. Okay. And here you see the cut joint, and you see again the ligament which runs from the crest to the intervertebral disc. Interarticular ligament. Then we should talk about the joints of the skull. First of all, we should say about the sutures. No, sutures. Here should be coronoid suture, this one tab dentatus suture. This one, this suture, sagittal suture. Here, lambdoid suture, lambdoid. This suture with the temporal bone, its shape goes into its name, squamous. Other sutures are plain between, for example, this one, internasal suture, maxillozygomatic sutures, and like this. Different sutures between facial bone. Here. Then here we have constant synchondrosis, sphenopetrosal, and here petroccipital. Constant synchondrosis, sphenopetrosal, petroccipital, synchondrosis. These places are covered with the cartilage. I'll tell you about this. Then we have here synostosis. For example, this one, spheno-occipital synostosis. This one, between sphenoid bone and occipit base of the basilar part of the occipital bone. Clear? Okay. And we have only one synovial joint, movable joint in our skull. This one, temporomandibular joint. Temporomandibular joint. Temporomandibular joint is joint between the temporal bone and mandibula. Articular surfaces. From this part, we have the head of the mandibula, condyle process. From this part, from this side, we have mandibular fossa and articular tubercle. Articular tubercle is also part of this joint. Temporomandibular joint, capsule connected to the temporal bone in front of this tubercle. From back side, it goes until the squamous fissure to this side.
The temporal bone?
To the temporal bone, to these fissures, until this, but includes the articular tubercle. On the mandibula, the capsule attached to the neck. You see, all head, it runs inside the inside the joint cavity, to the neck. This joint, we can say what is inside. It's divided into two chambers with help of the disc, intra-articular disc. It's curved as shaped disc, and this disc separates this articular cavity into upper and lower parts. So inflammation can be only in one part of this joint, if, due to this disc, if it's separate. Then this joint, we can classify it. You can see the shape of this joint. You see, condyle joint, ellipsoid, the main shape, ellipsoid joint. Two joints work together. So this one, combined joint, and it has disc. So this one, the complex joint. Shape, amount of the movements difference, but you see, ellipsoid joints and condyle joints, they should be axial joint. But this joint, due to disc, we can move in these three directions here. In these three directions, three axes. No, but these specific types of the movements, first of all, we can open and close mouth. This axe, open and close mouth. Then we can slide underward. It's like we move our head over the mandible to the tubercle. This movement. And also we can do like this. While we do this, look here, in this part, the head of mandibular runs to the tubercle. You see, we find the next X. And this side, it's rotate around the vertical X. You see different type of movements in these joints. While we do like this. Clear? This joint fixed with help of the lateral ligament. We have one real ligament of this joint, lateral. It's originated from the base of the zygomatic process and attached to the neck of the mandible from lateral side. Protect from the lateral movements. Also, we have some ligaments which we also call to this joint, but this like the false ligament, what we should call them. Stylomandibular ligament, it runs from the styloid process to the angle of the mandibular, and sphenomandibular ligament. Sphenomandibular ligament runs from the sphenoid spine to the lingula, to the middle spine. These ligaments, why do I say that is false ligament? They like this connective tissue, dense fibrous connective tissue, but these ligaments, they like the part of the fascias which surrounded the muscles, which are located in the infratemporal fossa. Clear? These ligaments also can participate in the fixation of this joint. Also, we should say about the muscles which fix joint, but this we will see later. Clear? You see, in general, we can say that not only ligaments fix joints, but also muscles. Muscles, they limit movement, they increase stability of these joints. Oh, like this. Clear about the temporomandibular joint. And you see the anterior part, anterior capsule, rather big, so it can be situation while the head of mandibula runs to the tubercle, in front of the tubercle. This we call, I forgot this word, vivih. While the bone go out of the place, dislocation.
Underbite, like when this goes.
Dislocation of head, dislocation. Okay, we'll use this word. Dislocation, and this way, person will stay in the open mouth. You can't close it because tubercle, and the person can't return the head to its place, to the mandibular fossa.
So they need to make.
It's not. It should turn down and back, and but it's weakness of the anterior part. For example, a person can't close.
The situation similar to the shoulder when.
Yes, this dislocation of the bones of the joint, in joint. maybe we have some specific term that to put.
פריקת כתף, פריקה.
Notification.
Yeah, it's a name in Hebrew, I know, I didn't know it in English. פריקה.
Okay. Clear? What about our time?